Well, welcome back to Mayor's Corner, Mayor Nathan C. Today we have Mitzi Taylor with Exit Realty with us. She has an office here in Pea Ridge as well as in Bentonville. And we brought in their team to just talk about the real estate market, what they do, kind of their mission, how she got started. And so I'm going to pass it to Mitzi and let her introduce her team that's with us today.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'm Mitzi Taylor. I'm the principal broker owner of Exit Taylor Real Estate. Like Nathan said, I have an office here in Pea Ridge located right by the high school, and then one in Bentonville. Today I brought along with me my executive broker, Tessa Zacco, who has also graduated from Pea Ridge High School, and not recently anyway. And then Charles Swain, one of my top producing realtors who mans my office in Pea Ridge for me and currently lives in Pea Ridge.
Very good. Now, how many realtors do you have that work under you?
So currently we have 24 agents.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so we're growing, hoping to add another 30 this year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really just looking for a good group of quality agents who want to serve their clients, you know. So the ultimate goal is to find 100 great agents, and believe it or not, there's over 4,000 agents in Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Those are big numbers.
Yeah.
More than I thought. But as Northwest Arkansas grows, there's more and more of a need for more agents.
But as we all know, only 20% of the agents do anything, you know.
Just a little bit about your business. When did you establish in Pea Ridge, and why did you pick Pea Ridge for your investment?
Yeah, so, you know, I have deep roots in Pea Ridge. In fact, you and we grew up going to the Pea Ridge Pentecostal Holiness Church. That dates us way back with Pastor Bonnie and David way back in the day. I graduated from Pea Ridge High School a few years ago. We won't have to talk about when, but just a few. And then currently I have 4 children who have made it through Pea Ridge, and one is actually graduating with your daughter, Hannah, this year. So that's super exciting. So I have deep roots in Pea Ridge, and I just love Pea Ridge. You know, it's just a hometown. Even though as we grow, I still feel like it's hometown. Yeah. And I'm a big supporter of you and our town and the growth. So it's super exciting. I have been in Pea Ridge for a long time. I ran another builder's office for 8 years, and we had an office on Weston Street, but then I went out on my own back in 2022 into the current building on Pickens Street by the high school. And then probably a year after that, in 2023, I bought the Exit franchise, and then also at the same time that year, I expanded into Bentonville. Okay. So. Cool.
Well, you're growing business, that's for sure. What made you think that, like, whenever you got into real estate to begin with, what was your drive to do that? What's your mission in real estate?
So the whole reason I got into real estate, which is kind of a crazy story, I worked for a Walmart vendor, and way back in the day, I know a lot of people can't believe this, but I lived in Standing Oak subdivision, and you couldn't sell your house to make any money. We said it was underwater. So I thought if I could get my real estate license, you know, most companies will let you, you know, take it easy on one side of the compensation. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get my license just to sell my own house so we don't go in the negative. And so, you know, I got my license, I started selling some stuff, and I found out I was really good at it. So that's kind of how it all really started. So yeah, I love real estate. It's not a job, it's a passion. I love that. Yes.
I always tell students whenever we're at the high school and we do some motivational speeches, I guess we could call it, but let your passion drive your success. If you're passionate, then you'll succeed. And so that's a very good statement that you're passionate about it, because that's what's going to make you and has made you successful. What's the real estate market like right now? What are we looking like in Northwest Arkansas? Pea Ridge, essentially.
Yeah, I've got numbers for Pea Ridge, so which is kind of crazy. Which we see all the building going on, and in fact, I pulled your tracker, which I appreciate since you took office doing that, because it really gives visibility to the town and the citizens of what's going on, and we didn't have that in years prior. And currently, based on your city tracker, you've got 9 residential developments going on. That's a whole lot of houses. So currently on the market for just Pea Ridge, active listings, there's 148. Out of the 148, there's 117 that are brand spanking new. So 79% of the inventory is new. And then we have 111 homes pending.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and out of that, 79 are brand new, which is 71%. And then sold in the last 6 months, that's where we're always gauging our numbers, 272 homes have sold. And 176 of those were brand spanking new. So 65% of the homes sold in the last 6 months were brand new. So last month, approximately 48 homes sold, which shows us that we've got about a 3-month supply in Pea Ridge, which is crazy because as fast as they're building, people are buying them.
Yeah.
You know, and filling them up, because I really expected that number to be higher. You know, I was thinking 6 months. I was shocked when I saw, you know, that we're at a 3-month supply. And then also, if you're a longtime resident, this, you know, number has come up significantly. So the average sales price in Pea Ridge is around $380,000 now.
The
So,
average sale price.
The average
Oh, wow.
sales price. It is super hard I've got clients, young starter families and single people that are looking for homes, and we cannot find anything that's $250,000 or under.
Okay.
So that's a challenge to you,
It is a
Mayor.
challenge.
Get us some affordability, right? What do you guys think?
I
Yep.
agree.
Yep. What do you hear whenever people come to Pea Ridge and whenever they're looking at properties? Maybe they're just relocating within Northwest Arkansas, or maybe they're moving here and relocating from out of state. But why do people do they say why they choose Pea Ridge? Do you have any stories you want to share about anybody saying why they chose Pea Ridge? Or is Pea Ridge just kind of I'll say the bedroom community that is close to the I-49 corridor?
Right. Well, Pea Ridge still, even though if you're a longtime resident, $380,000 is really high to us, you know, but from outside folks coming in, it's still one of the most affordable markets coming in. Would you guys like to add anything to that?
Well, go ahead, Tessa.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I did have a client from California, and they chose Pea Ridge over everywhere else just because it was the small hometown vibe, and they just didn't want the hustle and bustle of Bentonville. So, and it was affordable.
Yeah.
Versus, especially the prices in California, they were like, oh my gosh, this is cheap.
Yeah.
And I don't have to deal with, you know, they were used to the crazy in California, so they were kind of glad about the small town, chill vibe.
Good.
And I would have to say that my recent experience was very similar in that they like the kind of the small town feel with the convenience of being able to access the city, still being able to see some of the farmland, which reminded them of their home. And so we do have that real good mix here in and around Pea Ridge,
Yep.
where you can still see some farms and cattle, but at the same time, you know, have these new homes and conveniences.
That's right. Convenience to services goes a long way. And, you know, as we grow in numbers of houses, we want to grow in numbers of businesses also, because we want those services to be here to keep people local, not having to travel out of city to go do the services that they need. So there's a lot of business aspects that's coming in right now as well at this time. And it's due to the influx of housing. I mean, if you don't have the people, then they don't want to invest.
Right.
But as long as you have the people, they're going to come and invest. And so that's kind of where we are right now in that, in the movement of commercial being a lot more equitable for people to invest in right now because of the growth that we've seen.
Yeah, and right now I have a person who is not wanting to purchase commercial, but wants to lease commercial, and definitely wants to be here in Pea Ridge. But right now, there's nothing available.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to put that business at the moment.
Right.
And
That's true. There's not any place to lease for businesses. What would you do differently if you did it all again?
If I did it all again
Anything? There could be.
for real estate,
Yeah.
I would probably just, you know, go out on my own sooner.
Okay.
You know, than following. And I had a great relationship with the builder that I ran his office and everything, and he was definitely my person that helped build my foundation. but really venture out sooner is probably what I would do.
Okay.
Just, and everything. What about you, Tessa?
Well, I mean, I personally wouldn't change anything just because Mitzi's also my mother.
Right.
So, I mean, I kind of grew up around the real estate because I was still in high school when she started. So, you know, I was in the car with her on the real estate and stuff. And I originally was in the medical field as a CNA, and then I realized it wasn't my career path I wanted to do. So she got me into real estate because she wanted one of her 4 kids in it.
There you go.
And I got in it with her, and she's been the best mentor and guidance and supporter that I could have asked for. So I don't think I would have changed anything.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Good job.
Thank you. And Charles, what were you going to add?
Well, I'm not sure because the question is, what would I do differently?
Yeah.
Well, I'm new, and so it was in April a year ago that I went to Mitzi and I said, "Hey, Mitzi, I think I want to be a real estate agent. How do I do that? And or what do you think about that?
Yeah.
And how do I do it?" So she thought it was a great idea, and she pointed me in the right direction. And 90 days later, had my license and was working with Mitzi.
That's awesome.
And Mitzi actually was my buyer's agent when I decided to move to Pea Ridge. And I met Mitzi. I thought she was awesome, and I told you, I said I want to work with you. And at that time, it was with finding the house for me. I didn't know it was going to be. I'm actually going to work with you. And so right now, I don't think I do anything differently because I was able to go to school. I was able to come out and work with fantastic realtors and have a broker, an executive broker that are amazing and supportive, and the technology tools that Exit provides us. I'm in a really good place.
Yeah.
And I've had some good success in a short amount of time,
That's awesome.
which doesn't happen for everyone.
No, that's true. But it's you got to be, it's hustle. I mean, you got to hustle in real estate because there's so many other people out there that you guys, I get text messages all hours of the day from real estate people asking about certain things. And I'm like, do you guys ever sleep? Like, when are you going to go to sleep? And he's like, nope, we're not sleeping. We got to make money. And so I understand that, you know, whenever things come up and the environment we live in today changes so fast, and you never know, like, if people are going to live here tomorrow, move tomorrow, and sell tomorrow because that life changes so fast. And so it's good to have people that are willing to just stay up all hours of the night and try to work deals and make people feel comfortable with their deals. And the number one thing that you guys have is trust. I mean, at the end of the day, people trust you for their deals to go through, both buyer and seller, both. So that's number one thing for businesses all over the place is you got to build that trust and build that relationship because everything's built off of those two things.
Absolutely.
And I agree with that because our clients really rely on us for the guidance. And so it's true. I mean, we work weekends, we work on vacation. It's just what we do because I know that my clients are relying on me to help them through the process.
Yep, that's right. Do you enjoy running a business?
Yes, I love it. You know, I love all my agents. I tell you, we really are a family disguise, or how am I going to say that? I always get that backwards.
Yeah.
We're a real estate company, but we're a family. All the agents that I have, I mean, they'll help each other. They want to help, you know, find houses for clients. I always have agents, if they know I'm looking for something specific, they'll send me stuff, you know, in case I missed it. But it's just a lot of fun, you know. We have a great group of realtors. We're very close knit. We do have a national TV person who makes it very exciting all the time. We never know what we're going to get sometimes. But
I follow you on social media, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're watching today. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I like being on TLC. That was fun. I got another episode coming out,
Nice.
you know, in a couple weeks. And it's all real estate related and stuff, so it makes it fun. But yeah, I love running a business. I love getting, being able to help others. And, you know, purchasing a home is the number one buy that they're going to make.
That's right.
You know, and so that's where that trust comes in, and it's important. You know, my clients are always asking, well, what do you think? What do you think? Well, it doesn't really matter what I think because you're going to work with me no matter what. You're buying the house, you have to love it. you've got to live here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's your number one investment. that you're
Number
gonna make.
one investment for sure.
Yep.
For
What
sure.
do you feel like in the real estate world and in the business is the biggest challenge right now?
Biggest challenge right now is really inventory. I mean, it's so low all across the board. I mean, I've got clients wanting to sell in Shadow Valley and Rogers and just they would move to Pea Ridge. They're just looking for something that is an acre, that'll under an acre, something with some space, you know, up to 850,000.
Yeah.
Never thought I could say I can't find nothing. It's crazy. And so inventory, and then anything that is 250 and under. I mean, for these young,
The starter homes.
the starter
yeah.
families, the young families, people that don't have a big budget. You know, one of my clients is fireman here in Pea Ridge, and he's looking. We haven't been able to find anything within his constraints, you know. So that, for me, is my biggest challenge is inventory. There's just not enough.
I think that price range is a national challenge
It is.
for the nation to try to fill that gap for affordable housing, if you will. A lot of them call it missing median housing, different types of language, but it is a big piece of actually getting people that are going to college to be able to get them in a home. It's hard to do that today in today's market that we're in, but
Well, I think, yes, inventory is a factor in terms of some of the challenges, but I have a couple of buyers who are qualified to purchase a home, and let's say maybe in the $300,000 range. Well, if you go and find a $300,000 house, the interest rate brings that payment up to where it's not comfortable for them.
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of control over that, I guess, but right now, that's when you run the numbers and you find out what your house payment is going to be, then it doesn't matter if you're qualified. It's like, do I want to pay that much money? And if I were, but to put myself or put themselves in that comfortable range, it brings you down to the 250 or under, or just at least hovering around there to get there, and then we don't have that.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have those homes. Well, if you do, you can't live in them.
True.
You have to spend a lot of money to make
To fix them up and
to make
sure.
them
Yeah.
livable,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Tessa, what is your challenges, would you say?
I mean, I definitely agree with the inventory and pricing. It does seem like it's more specific areas, because the most recent client I had, their price was $350, and although there is quite a bit, it felt like the more we found was more all the way towards Prairie Grove
Okay.
instead of north. And so I will say that was pretty difficult for that price range. And I know it kind of sounds crazy for the market right now, but I mean, when we finally find something, all of a sudden 3 offers on the same property.
Gotcha.
And it's difficult because I've had a lot of clients recently that have contingencies. So they have to sell their home in order to buy. And so we've been beaten out quite a bit. So I would definitely say that's probably been my biggest challenge lately.
So you're saying if people see a house in Pea Ridge they want to buy, they better get after it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Get it bought.
And
And I'll
then,
say, if it gets put in the sweet spot on the price,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it won't last a day.
no.
Exactly.
No.
It will go very quickly, and so those that are priced a little bit outside of maybe an appropriate pricing will stay on the market a little longer. But when you hit that right spot, it's gone.
Yeah. And sometimes a lot of the challenge also is, because I know these clients Tessa's talking about, they didn't necessarily want to be in a brand new subdivision. They wanted to be in a mature neighborhood, you know, and that kind of thing, where they have a bigger yard and that. And, you know, as we know, and we've heard all over the nation, people have low interest rates.
Yeah.
They're just not selling.
No.
You know, like I would love to sell. We could, you know, make some good money off of our house, but there's nothing that we can buy right now at
Can't
the same
afford to sell.
rate. No,
Yeah.
no.
I don't know how to ask this, I'm just asking. What input would you give people that maybe are looking to come and invest in a home in Pea Ridge?
I would say, come on. There's a lot of new construction, and as long as there's no rules against having investment property in the subdivision,
Yeah.
then I would say, rates or house prices are not going down. They will continue to go up. Pea Ridge will continue to increase at a good rate. And so Pea Ridge is a good option for investment. Definitely. What do you think, Charles?
Well, yeah. My first thought is that yes, if you were thinking about either purchasing a home here or bringing your business here, it's a really wonderful place to live, and there is so much growth going on, and I really feel like it's going to just become better and better. I hope that we can kind of do something with the traffic a little bit, but
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode.
Because I know somebody who doesn't need to be at work as early, but will leave at 6:30 in the morning to make it over there just to not have to sit in the traffic. And so, and luckily I don't have that problem.
Right.
My office is in Pea Ridge. Mine's around the corner from where I
Right?
live.
Yeah, you're right here.
Except for when I have to go to the Bentonville office, and then I wait until after 8:30. So
Yeah, because if I want to be at the Bentonville office, say 8 o'clock or something, and I live right outside of town toward the military park, it's actually closer for me to go through Avoca and Rogers down 102 to get to my office that's just right at the interstate there in Bentonville.
Yeah.
you mean
So.
going in,
Yeah.
Yep.
and around.
Yeah, it's quicker.
As things grow, I mean, Northwest Arkansas and the region is growing from the corporate side of things. Walmart's fixing to open the largest piece of their campus in July. And so the new home office, I mean, there's going to be a lot more people going to work in July. And then you have the Awesome, which is Alice Walton School of Medicine, that's going to be opening up soon. You have the Cleveland Clinic and stuff that they're going to be doing. So there's a lot of things happening in the region that are going to be impacting our city in general, just because people, whenever they look at the map, they think Pea Ridge is 7 miles away from where I need to be going to work. So I'm going to go to Pea Ridge and invest in Pea Ridge as a home. We have people that moved here from Centerton because they're on this side of the bypass now to get to the home office.
Right.
So there's a lot of things in the work. And you say we have 3 months supply. There's going to be a need for more houses as these other things start to. We had one of the doctors that is going to be working at Awesome. He's looking at a house in Pea Ridge. And so whenever, he came and visited, and there's a couple different ones that he's looking at, but he said he loves Pea Ridge. He loves the vibe. And he said he really loves going past, whenever Jack's Ranch was there, he got to drive past it. But, it's being preserved. It's coming back as a ranch. So that's good. It's kind of,
Right.
I call that kind of the reset zone for people leaving Bentonville. Like that's the time you take your work hat off, put your home hat on, and then come home into Pea Ridge. But there's a lot of things happening in the region, and we get to be a piece of it is what's exciting.
I know, it is
there's so many
exciting.
other pieces of the state that
Yes.
don't have the blessings that we have to be able to prosper. And, if you go down to the Delta or down to different areas, it's tough down there. And so to have the problems we get to have in Northwest Arkansas is much better than the problems that they're experiencing in that area of the state. And, it goes back to relationships, trust, and creating a community where people that they can get involved in. And that's what we want to do here is get people involved, let people know they're engaged, let them know they're heard, and be able to implement some things that they would like to have here. Especially whenever you have people move from like the coastal areas and they move here and like, man, we had this there. Can you guys do this here? Yeah, we can probably do it here. And just going to take some time to get that here.
Right.
But we're really trying to work from a city aspect is growing the economic development, which is anything from parks and recs to trails to all the things outside, police and fire. They're all kind of under that umbrella of economic development. But to make that happen, it takes people. It takes the people and the residents wanting to be here and wanting to be a part of this community. So one last question for you guys. What do you do in your free time?
My husband and I fish this Guys and Gals bass tournament, and so that's super relaxing. And it seems like my T-Mobile service doesn't get any signal out there, so I don't have to worry about getting any calls, So that's probably my only thing that I do, and that's once a month. So, but yeah, what about you guys?
Personally, just spend time outside, especially since it's getting nicer, and I have a miniature dachshund, and she loves to be outside, so try to take her wherever I can.
And go to the gym a lot.
Yes, definitely spend a lot of time in the gym.
Well, my two favorite things are looking at new houses and new cars. And so I used to every weekend go all over Pea Ridge and anywhere else and go look at new homes as they're being built. I don't do that so much anymore, but I am always at the new car lots looking at cars. And so those are the two things I probably do the most in terms of in my free time. And except for I like taking a day trip, maybe run to Eureka Springs or Kansas City or somewhere like that. And then just getting out and walking the trails, you know, the paved ones.
Yeah. What do you, as far as family go, I know you have a kid still at home and all that stuff happening. What do you guys do as a family?
Well, as you know, with teenagers, since you have one too,
Yep.
they're kind of on their own schedule.
Yep.
So probably just family get-togethers on holidays and stuff, you know, is when we really come together. Otherwise, the teenager, she's just ready to get out and move on to
Go
college.
to college and do the next chapter of life.
Exactly.
Good for her. That's
yeah.
good.
Well, we have tried to start Sunday family
true,
dinners
true.
as well.
Yep.
It's just can be difficult. My older sister is a hairstylist, so she does a lot of weddings on the weekend. And then the teenager, Kaylee, she usually always works on Sundays. So sometimes it can just be hard to get us all
true.
together.
Yep.
True.
It is very hard to get everybody all together. I mean, you just got to schedule it, and who shows up, and at least I scheduled something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I always said this too, that time is something you never get back. So make sure you invest it wisely wherever you invest it, that it's invested where you can withdraw from it at some point in time. So the people that you invest into and the things you invest into, make sure that you're able to withdraw from those people or from that thing at the time that you need something. So time is very, very important. Charlie, what about you?
I think it's just spending time together.
Yeah.
You know, spending quality time together, and I like to cook. Don't go out that much.
Okay.
Restaurants and things
Yeah.
like that. So you know, cooking. And
Well, maybe you need to open a restaurant here in Pea Ridge.
Yeah.
Come on.
There you go.
There
Hey,
you
when
go.
I built that
Give you something
plaza, you
else to
can
do.
put something in there.
You don't know how many times I've thought about opening a restaurant, and I'm not really a cook, you know, or chef or anything like that. But I always thought that might be fun to do. But instead, I thought, how about real estate?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
But the good thing about real estate is you can do real estate and you can do other things.
That's true.
Exactly.
as well. So
Exactly.
who knows? Maybe I ought to open up a
Yeah,
restaurant.
but you
If somebody's watching and they're looking at getting into real estate, what are some pointers that you would give them?
well, call me, and I'll point you in the right direction of real estate school. So yeah, definitely call me, 479-366-6893, Mitzi Taylor. But really,
No,
no matter.
actually, call me.
Call
and I'll
Charles.
send you to Mitzi, and I'll tell you why later.
But whether you're looking at real estate or any business, I think the first thing that you need to do, the number one tip, is ask yourself, is the business I'm looking at, do I really like? Because if you don't like what you're doing, you don't need to do it. You know, I listen to a lot of self-help, and they're like, if you're going to the job that you hate, that you've been doing for 20 years, you need to stop. You know, and only you can change your
That's right.
focus of your future. And so definitely just reevaluate what you want to do. I can help anyone get started in real estate school and guide them on that process. So, but really evaluate themselves and make sure it's something they love to do.
I really do think Mitzi is a great mentor as well because she knows from experience. She got her license to sell her house, but she did work a full-time vendor job while starting real estate.
Yes.
So she was working Monday through Friday at the vendor job and then just hustled and bustled in the afternoons and weekends to get her real estate started.
For 2.5 years, I worked
That's a
a
good
full-time
point.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, we're 100% commission. I think some people don't realize that unless the deal closes, and it's never closed until it's closed. We don't get paid.
Right.
We spend a lot of money up front on quality professional photos, videos, placement on Zillow and different apps. And so it takes a lot to be in real estate,
Yep.
you know.
Marketing is a huge expense for realtors.
It's our number one expense. It pays off when the deal closes and everything. And our number one goal is to make sure our client's property gets sold or to help them find something. So, and to promote our office and our agents, because I'm really big on that, is making sure we're out there presenting our brand, because the Exit brand is new to Arkansas, and we're here to make it bigger and better. So super excited about that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for coming on today. It was
Yes,
fun,
thank you for
exciting, good
having
numbers
us.
you had. I'm really
Yes.
excited to, to hear the numbers that you had regarding the housing market. And I think that as we grow, there's definitely a need for sure.
Yeah, because I know just driving by the new construction, their first thought of people in Pea Ridge is like, oh my gosh, we got too much new construction. But until you really look at the numbers, no, we don't.
Right.
We just have enough to sustain us for 3 months.
Yeah.
That many people is moving in.
Do you have a number, is there a number per, I don't know how this works, is it number per week or number by the month of families that move into Northwest Arkansas? There was something that I seen on Talk Business maybe or something, but I don't remember what that was.
Yeah.
It was 30 something, but I don't know if that was by the month, by the week, or what that was. It was like 38 people move into Northwest Arkansas, but I don't know if that's...
Actually, you said there's, and I'm not great with math, but what did you say? 48 homes were sold in
The month.
the month. So, I don't know if that
Yeah.
equates to people coming in.
Right.
I think
one
I've
a
heard
day or
like,
something. I don't know.
no, I've heard like 6 to 8 a day. Yeah, moving to Northwest Arkansas, all
Yeah.
across the
Yeah, okay.
region.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole region, right.
Yeah, so it's a lot,
Yeah, it is.
and it's exciting for you, and, it's exciting for all of us, especially to see, being from Pea Ridge and everything, to see where we were and where we are and where we're going. It's exciting.
It is.
I'm excited.
It's exciting.
It's
Definitely.
exciting.
It's an exciting time to be here and be a part of it and to watch it grow. I mean, I've lived here 30 years and rode my bike on these streets, and so I got to really grow up with it. And so it's definitely changing, but changing for the good. And we want to make things better as we move along. So each of you, I want you to think really quick on what your favorite quote is that you would like to share.
Okay. Well, the thing I'm always preaching is, in real estate or anything at all, you've got to do something every day, be consistent. You may not see results now, but as long as you're consistent doing something every day, then the business has to come.
Yep.
That's
good.
my thing.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd have to say probably you miss 100% of chances that you don't take.
That's a good
Whether
one.
that's in your career, in your personal life, everything.
That's good, Tessa.
That's a good one.
I have drawn such a big blank, but the only thing is believe in yourself, know that you can do it.
Yep. For you to draw a blank, that's a good quote.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
That's good.
And if you're thinking about moving to Northwest Arkansas, Pea Ridge is the place.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Life's better on the
Absolutely.
ridge, for sure.
Yes.
Mitzi, Tessa, Charles, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you guys being here. And thank you for your investment in Pea Ridge. And thank you for your kind of guiding the growth as it comes in, and keep those sales going.
We will.
Thank you
All
for
right.
having
Well,
us.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you all very much for being on. We'll be out with the next episode next month. Have a great day.